Hi, what is up, Apple lovers, and welcome to another episode of the Tech Hub. And today I give you my thoughts and buying guide on the Mac Mini M4 after using it every day as my main daily driver for the last 3 months. Do I have any regrets? Let's find out. Let's start the episode. So let's start talking about my Mac journey and how I ended up with the M4 Mac Mini. I went to a Mac Mini M1 version a couple of years ago when they changed the iMac lineup. I always had iMacs before that. I always planned to get my dream setup, which was the Apple Studio with a studio display. As you can see behind me, I got the studio display. I had the Mac Studio M1 Ultra, and I was content. And then last year, they unexpectedly announced a new Mini, and I was just drawn to it. It is predominantly a Mac Studio in mini version. So I had that look. I mean, I love the Mac Studio, but it is huge. So aesthetically, this is more pleasing. And of course, the M4 wallops a huge bang as well. And straight off the back, I'll tell you now, I had the M1 Ultra. This M4 standard keeps up with it, period. But we'll go through my specification in a minute. So that's kind of how I ended up with the Mac Mini, and I'm really glad I did because now I'm out of the iMac cycle. Of course, I've got a couple of displays, I've got a hub, I've got hard drives. I'm out of that ecosystem of, when you come away from iMac, you have to buy all that. Now, I just changed this, and this is the first time that I've not changed anything else. It was just right, Mac Studio out, Mac Mini in, boom. So that's nice. And I feel that, I make an effort to upgrade my phone every year because it retains its value. I can see me doing that, the Mac Mini, the same thing, push, push. Anyway, that's how I ended up with the Mac Mini. So let's talk through my specific specification. So here it is, my 2024 Mac Mini. This model comes with Apple's new standard M4 chip, 512 SSD, and an upgraded 24 gigabytes of unified memory. So let's break down what makes this spec sheet so exciting and how it performs in real world use cases. So let's start with the design. If you've seen the previous generation, the 2024 Mac Mini sticks to that same iconic minimalist aluminium chassis. It's more lightweight and blends seamlessly into any setup. And it's even smaller than the original Mac Mini. It's somewhere in between the Apple TV and the Mac Mini in size. It's a bit higher than the original Mac Minis, but it's just compact and effortlessly powerful. Now onto the ports, an area where Apple really listened to feedback. This model comes with 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, a HDMI 2.1 port for up to 8K video output, a 3.5mm headphone jack at the front, and an optional 10 gigabyte Ethernet. I just stuck to the general gig though. So plenty of connectivity for creators, developers, and everyday users alike. The only thing missing from the front is an SD card reader compared to the Mac Studio that I previously had. Now let's talk about performance. So powered by Apple's new M4 chip, this Mac Mini packs an 8-core CPU and a 12-core GPU. The M4 chip builds on the efficiency and the speed of the M3 series, offering faster rendering times, improved multitasking, and better energy efficiency. But with 24 gigabytes of unified memory, it handles intensive tasks like video editing, 3D rendering, and large-scale programming projects effortlessly. Apps open instantly, and even with multiple high-demand applications running, the system doesn't break a sweat. For gamers, titles optimized for Apple Silicon are smooth and responsive, though the Mac Mini still isn't designed to replace a gaming rig. Now, I do several things with it. I call myself a semi-pro. The most intensive thing I do is this, Final Cut Pro work. Now, the main difference that I've seen between my Mac Studio and this, the export times are longer. I don't exactly do back-to-back videos. When I complete a video, I hit export. It's done when it's done. So it really doesn't bother me. For work, I multitask a lot, but mainly office documents. And that's kept up well with it, as well as video calling at the same time as multitasking. And that's where I've seen devices play up before. Gaming, very minimal. I mean, I do mainly remote play my PlayStation. However, I have played titles such as the new Resident Evils, which it keeps up with. But like I said, it's not quite there yet in replacing a gaming rig, but it's not far off. The hard drive capacity I went for was 512 gigabytes SSD, which strikes a balance between speed and storage capacity. It's fast with read and write speeds that makes importing large files or booting up to macOS Sequoia feel almost instant. If you work with a lot of media files though, you might want to look into external storage options. I'm going to run through the accessories I use for that later. Speaking of macOS Sequoia, the Mac Mini comes pre-installed with Apple's latest operating system. Sequoia introduced features like enhanced widgets, improved video conferencing tools, and optimizations tailored for app and silicon, making the entire experience feel polished and intuitive. And of course, it is compatible with the brand new Apple Intelligence. I haven't used a lot of those features. However, I have used writing tools, particularly with work and some of my scripts. So who is the Mac Mini for? With its compact size, powerful M4 chip and 24 gigabytes of memory, this is an ideal machine for semi-professionals and creative users. Whether you're editing 4K videos, coding complex software, or just looking for a future-proof desktop, the 2024 Mac Mini delivers exceptional performance without breaking the bank. That said, if you need even more power, you might want to consider the M4 Pro. But for most users, the standard M4 configuration is going to be more than enough. So that's everything about the actual Mac itself. However, I did want to touch on the accessories that I use that I think is just as important as the Mac itself and really helps me be productive. So let's dive into the ultimate accessory setup for my 2024 Mac Mini with the M4 chip. If you've been wondering how to get the most out of your Mac Mini, stick around as I break down my gear and how it all works together to create a seamless, powerful workstation. I will also put a link to all the products I discuss in the description below. All right, let's kick things off with connectivity. Because the Mac Mini is great, but we all know ports can get tight, enter the CalDigit Thunderbolt 4 Pro dock. This dock is an absolute game changer with 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, multiple USB-A and USB-C ports, an SD card reader, and even an Ethernet port. It's the central hub for connecting all of my peripherals. It keeps everything organized and eliminates the need for extra dongles. Plus, the build quality is top notch, definitely worth the investment. Next up, the display. So for my main monitor, which I've been using for a while, I'm using the Apple Studio display. It's 5K Retina Beauty with P3 wide color and True Tone technology. Whether I'm editing videos, working on graphic design, or just watching content, the visuals are stunning, crisp, vibrant, and easy on the eyes. Now for my secondary screen, what I think is a must to have a secondary screen to be productive, I've added the HBM22F Full HD 21.5 inch IPS LCD monitor. This budget-friendly monitor complements the Studio display perfectly. I mean, in the aesthetic as well, so it's very much silver black. It's great for multitasking. I typically use it for side stuff that I always want to open, like my email or my notes, or keeping reference material handy while I work on the main screen. But I think you agree, it looks great. I'm kind of limited with the space here as well, so that 21.5 inch was perfect for me. Now, as for storage, for long-term backups, I rely on the SanDisk Professional G Drive 4TB, which I hack into 4 bits. One for some storage, one for my Final Cut Pro, and then some more for backups. So Mac Mini backups, Mac Pro backups. This thing is super reliable, fast, and with plenty of space to handle my large video files and archives. It's perfect for anyone who works with lots of data. Now for portable storage, I've got the Samsung Portable SSD T7. It's compact, fast, and ideal for transferring files between devices or working on projects on the go. With read and write speeds of up to 1050 megabytes, is as efficient as it gets. Now, I tend to use this for Time Machine backups as well. So my MacBook, my Mac Mini. But I love this thing so much, I got a second one for our iMac. as well. These things are seriously fast. Moving on to input devices, I've gone through Apple Magic's lineup. First, we have the Apple Magic Mouse. It's multi-touch surface, makes navigation smooth and intuitive. I know it's a bit polarizing, but I've grown to love it for everyday tasks, for provision work like editing or retouching photos. I also use the Apple Magic Trackpad. The gestures are a lifesaver when it comes to multitasking or navigating the macOS. Plus, the larger surface area gives me plenty of room to work. Now, of course, when this thing needs charging, I don't care. It's at the bottom. I put it at the side and I use my trackpad. Doesn't bother me at all. And finally, the Apple Magic Keyboard with Touch ID and numeric keypad for the Mac. This keyboard not only looks sleek, but it feels great to type on. The addition of Touch ID is super convenient for logging in or approving purchases securely, or any password entering at all at any point. I just love having Touch ID. How does all this come together? Well, the Mac Mini's M4 chip ensures that everything runs smoothly, from powering 2 displays to handling my storage devices. The CalDigit dock keeps all my peripherals connected and charged, while the input devices and displays make interacting with the system a joy. The setup is versatile, whether I'm editing videos, scripting content, or just browsing the web. And of course, if I'm at work as well. I like to work from home, and I just find it a privilege that I get to use my favorite thing in the world every day, and I get paid for it. And that's my ultimate Mac Mini 4 accessory setup. What do you think? Are there any accessories you swear by for your Mac or your Mac Mini or your desktop sets? Let me know in the comments below. So do I have any regrets at all? Not one. Not one. I did wonder at the time, should I be going for the M4 Pro? This M4 standard chip, I'm sure the M4 Pro is better. I don't need it in my life. Like I said, the only thing that I've noticed a difference on compared to my Mac Studio M1 is a bit of an extra export time on Final Cut Pro. But it's not like I'm doing bags and bags of video every day. I maybe do one video, maybe 2 videos every week. I've got time to just hit export and go make my thumbnail. Absolutely no regrets at all. I thought I was going to miss my beastie Mac Studio, which was my ideal setup, but not at all. And in fact, I can, like I said, I can see me just upgrading every year, because I can just literally change that. And by doing upgrades every year, you retain the value of the device you're selling. And of course, I've got access to the educational store, so that gave me £100 off this device already. So that wraps up my review of the 2024 Mac Mini after 3 months. What do you think about this year's upgrade? Is it the compact powerhouse you've been waiting for? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, please do be kind. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more tech reviews and Apple goodness. Please follow me on Instagram and Threads at TechHubWiltsUK. Check out my website www.techhubwiltsuk.co.uk, and I'll see you on the next episode.